Here we go, the journey begins. The motorcycle journey begins for the lad.
Fat Sabbath or Mutt Mongrel or something.
It's a Mutt Fat Sabbath or a Mutt Mongrel.
Yeah.
Not sure which one. Anyway, it's Elias's first ever motorcycle we're going to look at now. He hasn't even done his CBT yet, but when are you doing it?
29th of April.
The 29th of April is the CBT. You think you're buying it today. I'm definitely gonna have to test ride this thing. Obviously it's a 125, it's a tiny thing, but you know, these things can be ragged, can't they? And they're not always maintained that well. So I'm gonna give it a go today, see what we think. If it's a goer, it will be purchased, I'm sure. It looks like it's been maintained. The speedo cable needs replacing. That's all I know, but that's like a 25 quid part. So that's nice and straightforward. But anyway, we're gonna go and take a look, see what we think. Marketplace, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. You know when someone's been on Facebook only for like a year and a half? Who's on Facebook for just a year and a half? This guy he's not based in Bristol, based somewhere else, but the bike's in Bristol and he's coming to Bristol to sell it. I'm just a little bit like, okay, let's just make sure we're not buying some kind of stolen goods that has been kind of put through some system. It's been up for sale now, what is it, 15 days?
Yeah.
So a couple of weeks. So I'm a little bit skeptical. I am a skeptical person when it comes to selling stuff. So I'm gonna ask this guy a couple of questions. Number one, if we turn up there and there's 3 guys waiting for us, we don't even get out of the car. 2, if the guy can't show me his ID, it's a no-go. And I want to see the documentation. If those things can't be shown, then we're out of there. This could be kind of a exciting trip with somebody that gets annoyed with me because I'm asking him too many questions. It could be really, really straightforward, and I'm just a little bit too skeptical. I don't know. I do get a little bit like, we're being honest here. We're arriving in a couple of minutes. Elias is suggesting a slow approach, figure out the area, scope it.
Scope it out.
You know what I mean? Scoping it out. Is it just me or does it stink of weed up here?
I can't smell it, to be honest.
Hello?
I'm here now.
Whereabouts are you?
That's it. Alright, we'll come up.
I'm standing outside.
Well, that was nothing to be concerned about. The bike's actually quite nice. The 2 guys are really lovely. It'll be the 3rd, I think it's on the 3rd owner at the moment. Might be able to hear it in the background. I'm just grabbing my helmet and I'm gonna take it for a spin around the block. First time on a 125 for a long time. Alrighty. Let's have a little chat. We'll give you a yes or no definitely by the end of the day. You know, it won't be like, yeah. Is that all right?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Nice. Nice to meet you guys. Cheers, mate. Well, that's the first time riding a 125 for ages, and I must say it literally felt like riding a bag of bones, you know. But that's probably what to expect from a 125 that weighs 100 kilos compared to a 900cc Triumph that weighs like 240 kilos or whatever. It felt really, really light, really kind of, but the thing that I didn't like about it, it just felt a little bit unstable as well, not completely, but that might just be me needing to get used to riding a bike that weighs kind of what you can bench press, really. It was tidy. There was no concerns over the guys that were selling it, and the paperwork was all in order. My skepticism was put to rest pretty quickly. Was yours?
Yeah. I mean, just chatting to the guy on the phone, I didn't think he was trying to scam me at all.
No. So I think there was nothing to be worried about there. There are two guys selling. One of them that obviously was the owner, but they were both really honest lads, which was nice, really nice. I just want to have a little read about the Mutt and whether that's a bike that is kind of worth putting a couple of grand into, or whether it's better to go down like a like a Honda CB125 or something like that is tried and tested, kind of been around the block, and whether there's a huge difference. Because if there is, it's better to go with something because you're going to keep this for a couple of years. Having said that, I guess with 125s,
You might not keep them.
no, let's say this.
It might just be 6 months or something.
Is it you buy a 125 and then you're a little bit like, well, you know, actually I'm on my way to getting a bigger bike.
Yeah.
So it's just the kind of a thing that you have for a little while, but not that long. It's just to get your teeth cut with riding a motorcycle kind of thing. We're gonna have a little read, little think, make a decision by the end of the day. So we're back at Fowler's, because it's inspired us to come and look at some more 125s. But we end up just looking at all the bikes in the car park, or the bike park, should I say. Let's go and have a look at Fowler's Honda, sit on some 125s that are going to be like 9 times the price of that rusty little mutt. Elias doesn't like the little monkey bike.
Look how massive the seat is.
I know, but I mean, mate, that's that thing there. If I was going to have a 125, that would be it. 100% that would be it. So yeah, the GB350. No, you can't do that.
Sorry.
He just got told off for trying to sit on the bike. Plenty of power, nice and light, handles well. It's a Honda. We just go forever. So this is the Mutt Akita, which is about 800 quid more than those guys want for the bike up the road, which basically is a little bit of a bag of bones, really, that one. And this is a brand new bike. Actually, ergonomically, it's made by Mutt, but it just looks so much better ergonomically. Nice big pedals on it, nice big levers, you know, all the things you want. And the speedo works, probably. Yeah, much better, much better. It feels just more substantial. That's what I'd expect from a 125. It just felt a little bit rough, that bike, if I'm honest, that one we looked at. So 2,700, I mean, it's a brand new bike. Well, I mean, it's your money, you do what you want, but when you think about it, an extra 800 quid for a bike that you'll probably be able to sell for, you'll be able to sell it for £2,000. I reckon if you buy that for £2,000, you're not going to be able to, and it's overpriced as it is, you're not going to be able to sell it for more than like 1,500, so you're going to lose 500 quid on it. If you buy this for 2,700 and sell it for 2,200, you still only lost 500 quid. So it's a similar economy, isn't it? I'd still prefer a Yamaha, a Honda, or a Suzuki for a 125, but this does apparently has a Suzuki engine. Well, I gotta say, these ones here, these Mutt DRK 125s, they feel like a premium bit of kit. And even this one here, the Akita or whatever it's called, this is one step down from the DRK ones, but actually the foot pedals I prefer the foot pedals on this one. And those little things make a difference actually, because you're using them all the time. So that felt, you know, all these ones here felt, compared to the one we tried this morning, pretty much premium. I like them. They look good. Feel good. Obviously this one's a completely different price bracket altogether. But yeah, you sit on that. That actually looks really nice. And you can see the bigger bike version of this. You can see it in the small bike. That's a lovely looking bike. Upside down forks. There's quite a lot of premium stuff on this. XSR 125. And obviously this one here, you've got your MT models of the Yamaha. And I really like that. I like that. I mean, it's a bit too racy for my preferences, but I like the fact that these Yamahas have kind of, they look like the bigger bike versions. Very cool. I like that. So here we are getting another coffee at the Fowler's Cafe. This is Elias. He really wants his bike license. There are a few things to think about. Number one, are you going to buy 125? You're looking at spending a decent one, get a brand new Mutt, just under £3,000. That's a pretty good price. Or you go for, you actually get your full license and get yourself a 600 or your A1 restricted or whatever it's called, and you kind of cut your teeth on a bigger bike. Under my observation, of course, needs to be under my observation because it's just flipping dangerous. But a bigger bike, like a 500cc or 600cc, a really decent bike like a Honda Hornet or something like that, you can pick it up for 1,500 quid, right? And you keep that for years. There's choices to be made.
Yeah.
So Sons and motorbikes, it's one of those things that's kind of inevitable, isn't it, in a way. So we went to Fowler's, had a look at some other bikes, sat on them, and while we were there, I started to think about, you know, what's the best way, really, for my lads to get onto motorcycles? What's the most safe way? That's my thing. The safest, not the best, but the safest is probably the best as well. And I figured that actually you can do your CBT and then get straight onto a 125 and go bombing off around the roads. And really, you don't know what you're doing. You've done a CBT, which takes just a day. And I remember when I did a CBT back when I was 16, because you had to even do a CBT to get onto a 50cc then, I think. You still do if you're 16. If you got your driving license, you can get onto a 50cc, I think. But I remember just vividly this girl that was doing the CBT with me, she rode over the top of kind of a raised roundabout and had her feet flailing off the bike and totally out of control, and the riding instructor just screaming and shouting at her. I remember her name was Louise, because that was the name that was just ringing at like 1,000 decibels in my headset that I had on, like the intercom system. But anyway, at the end of the day, she passed the CBT. She got out onto the road. And I mean, how dangerous is that? And the CBT now is just a day's course. You're not necessarily, you know, well, you're not a good rider. You're just somebody that can legally take a 125 onto the road. But a 125, you know, can do 70 miles an hour. It's a dangerous thing to be on if you've never really had much experience riding. So I think possibly the safest way to get out on the road is to actually do your full license, where you get proper training, where you're doing slow speed maneuvers, where you are scrutinized and the test is actually difficult, and you can fail it quite easily. I think that's probably the safest way to do it. So I had another thought of like, well, why don't we buy like a Phaser or a Bandit or something like that, a 600cc. I literally just got rid of one. What am I doing? I should have kept that. And I can ride that to a big kind of car park or some open space, and we can do some riding lessons. So me and my oldest son and youngest son could do some riding lessons together in the safety of a car park, where I can teach them how to handle a bike that's heavier, how to do maneuvers, all the slow speed stuff that's really, really important. Obviously, I can't take them out on the roads, and I wouldn't want to do that anyway. That's up to a riding instructor. But just so I can get them kind of beyond this first phase of not really knowing how to ride at all. Because I think really riding a 125, going from a 125 to a big bike is a little bit like going from a Mini to a bus, you know. It is so different. It's so different. Yeah, they've got two wheels and handlebars, but it's a world of difference between a small bike, a light bike that weighs 100 kilos or less, and a bigger bike that weighs up to 100 200 kilos and more. And just the power factor as well, and the kind of the heft of the thing makes such a massive difference. So I think we're probably going to invest in a bike that we don't mind dropping a few times, take it out to a big space. There's some big car parks here in Bristol where after a certain time of the day they're just completely empty, because they're like park and ride type things. We can go there and do some slow speed maneuvers. So I think that's probably the way I'm going to take it. Do some good training with them, and then say, right, they're going to do their CBTs, of course. They've got them booked in for next week, I think. But buy a bike that we don't mind wrecking a bit, and then get them some experience of sitting on a bigger bike, and then put them into their full license, where they're going to get all the proper training and go through it that way. That makes me feel a little bit safer, if I'm honest, that I can have a little bit of a hand in their training, because I've ridden for so long. I have so much experience riding that I think it's I've got a lot to kind of hand on. It gives me a bit of peace of mind as well, that I know whether they can or they can't, you know. I'm not trying to make money out of them from some driving lessons. I'm just much more kind of objective about this. Like either you can or you can't, and you got to learn this properly. So I think that's the way we do it. Let me know in the comments below if you think that's a good idea. I'll be interested to know your take on stuff. But sons and bikes, it's kind of inevitable, isn't it? Inevitable that because I love them so much and I love riding them so much, and they've seen the joy that I get out of it, of course they're going to think, well, why don't I do that as well? So let me know what you think below. See you in a bit.